All right, so we're here with Eric from
Hello.
Baltimore, and so what was your take on the first 2 days?
I guess I was a little apprehensive when I first showed up. Wasn't really sure what to expect. When we walked into the room, and all of a sudden I saw a box in the middle of the room and all these different stacks of materials, I thought it was going to be a really bad professional development activity. It actually turned out to be the task party, and that was really cool. Really good way to break the ice. Kind of lose myself in it and forget what I was there for. And since then, it's just been an interesting and eye-opening experience. So far, everyone's been really open, inviting, generate a lot of good dialogue, discussion, and actually see where this is going and where I can take it in my classroom. So I'm not really sure where I'm supposed to be looking if I look.
Were you always open to contemporary art? Like, have you tried to use it in classroom before?
I have, on a limited basis. I taught, what was the name of the book? 1,000 Splendid Suns by Khaled Hosseini, and he deals a lot with Afghanistan and the culture there. And there was one scene in particular where this girl who became a young woman was forced by her new husband to wear a burqa, and she talks about the experience of wearing the burqa and what that meant for her. And so it generated a discussion about what burqas were and what that meant as identity. And so I started doing some research, and I found Shepard Fairey and Banksy. They both did some art with dealing with burqas and what that meant in different contexts. And so I threw those images up on the screen and had them, tell me what they saw, investigate, what they're seeing, what it makes them feel, what it makes them think, and what questions they have about that. And actually generated. I was only going to do it for a warm up for like 10-15 minutes, and ended up taking the whole class period. It was really exciting. And so I started investigating more, and I found a blog. I don't even remember what the blog was called, but it had all these different contemporary artists, and it ended up having a street artist from Paris. I think she called herself Princess Hijab. And so she goes around and takes she'll find a Dolce & Gabbana advertisement, and she'll paint hijabs, which are the headpieces.
Yeah.
And so, it would be like beautiful models in like underwear, but all of a sudden they're wearing the headpiece covering up their faces.
Yeah.
So that was a really interesting idea, and we talked about faces, identity, and culture and identity and things of that nature. So this isn't entirely new, but my initial hesitancy was how I'm going to work this in all the time. But just the past couple of days, my mind is just like pop, 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 and now I'm like, well, I'm just going to do this every day and see what happens. So because really, instead of just saying I have to do it this way, I'm now seeing it as open-ended, and it can fit in anywhere. So that's really encouraging, and that was only after 2 days.
Yeah. So what do you think is your biggest challenge going to be starting back with all these kids?
Making sure that I implement the things that I'm doing now, and not get bogged down into the everyday grind of the school year and saying, okay, well, now we have to teach this book and this exercise and this, to make sure that I keep this and I make this to become a habit instead of, because the last time those things worked really well for me last year, but I only did them like twice, and I was like, I want to do it again, but I never got to there.
Right.
Whereas if I build this into my curriculum, well, now it's not I have to make time for it, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
Yeah. Awesome.